My apologies. I was wearing my mask because I just got back from a full day of being a good person. I love my mask because it's a simple yet effective way to display my righteousness. Am I concerned that 2 children in China dropped dead because they were forced to wear masks in gym class? Nope. Am I concerned that we're creating a generation of children who will be socially awkward and conditioned to fear their fellow man? No. Am I concerned that I'm contributing to an impending socialist technocracy that will enslave the global population? Not even a little bit. Am I concerned that my mask is symbolic of my compliance to the social conditioning that will eventually lead to the forced vaccination of every man, woman, and child on planet Earth? Not a chance. And why am I not concerned, you ask? I'm not concerned because I decided a long time ago that shallow, insignificant gestures are a much easier way to showcase my morality than actually being moral. Because in order to be a real good person, I gotta stand up to a real bad person. And I don't like standing up to or for anything. I've decided that it's much easier to trick my own mind into thinking compliance is a virtue instead of what compliance actually is. Cowardice. I prefer to float through life completely ignorant to the fact that every socialist takeover has always begun in the exact same way, with government overreach, public shaming, censorship, and a toilet paper shortage. Don't believe me? Google toilet paper shortage in communist Russia. Did you think you were having a unique experience? I prefer to pretend history never repeats itself so that I can stand by and turn a blind eye every time history repeats itself. I prefer to call anyone who speaks up, fights back, or stands their ground a lunatic or a conspiracy theorist so that I don't feel obligated to do my own research. Research takes away from me time. And lastly, I prefer to put on my mask and stand among a sea of masks so that I never have to be seen, be free, or reveal the deep dark shadows that lurk within me.
Such a good clip.
I like the graphic. Does that mean he's getting released early or something?
Nah, I just haven't replaced it because that actually would require me to have saved the original copy of the clip when I made it and then go back and edit it, which I definitely don't do. Basically, I make something, I add it to StreamYard, and then I delete it forever. So what's here is the only copy of it ever.
Ever.
Yeah,
I probably would. You're right.
some behind the scenes conversation there.
Shenanigans. How you guys doing? Good morning, CD.
Not too bad. Dag is here, but he's definitely
You're just not letting him in.
Well, no, I mean I can see the roof of his truck. He's definitely not in a parking lot somewhere doing a drug deal.
Is he driving right now? Should we try to stop him because his car's on the hood of his car? Is that what you're saying?
No. Like he's parked, and he'll be back in the truck in a minute. But
slanging some chickens.
Yeah, something like that.
He's got to get them eggs sold somehow,
That's right.
That's liquid gold. That's the inside is liquid gold right now.
Yeah. Selling chickens is dangerous, though.
You gotta do that on the black market.
For real, no joke.
I thought it was the brown market.
At least here. No, that's where
nobody got that joke.
We don't deal with that. It's for the real riffraff. What do we got? Anything today? Are we just gonna?
Yeah, we got a lot of stuff today. What do you want to start with?
I don't know. I was thinking about riffraff and. I was thinking about the paying you guy, but I don't know. Did you guys talk about him on Monday? Because I don't listen to the show on Monday.
No, I was going to talk.
Was that even out on Monday?
I don't think so. I just saw it yesterday. I think I was going to talk about that. I wanted to. I started with the mask video because I wanted to talk about this first.
Oh, that's true. I guess you have the mask. All right, thank you.
COVID vaccines may make Botox wear off faster.
So they're gonna want to wear masks more often now because they can't hide their messed up Botox face so.
I like that in all this vaccine stuff and all even I think it's the CDC or the FDA, they're coming out saying that people 65 and older that maybe there is a higher chance of stroke. This is what we're worried about. Your Botox not lasting as long. I mean,
Yeah,
you know,
it's the real crisis, man. Like I'm telling you, like this is the real crisis. Like
what are all those milfs and cougars gonna do, man?
Well, and of course,
Say goodbye to your gilf. Like,
of course, this study is coming out of Israel. Findings from an Israeli study indicate that the Pfizer vaccine may make Botox injections less effective, with regular Botox patients coming in around 2 to 3 weeks earlier for top-ups after receiving the vaccination. And dermatologists in the U.S. are reporting seeing similar trends amongst Botox users.
So like this is a really selective group, clearly, because like they had to get Botox, and then they had to get the vax, and then they had to figure out that okay, the vax is making the Botox wear off. Like that's like a very specific niche like market that you're having to figure out.
I feel like if you're getting Botox though, like you have no problem taking the vaccine either. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of like,
right,
I'm
you
already
were
putting some
obviously
substance in my body to, you know.
You're obviously perfectly comfortable with them injecting whatever random shit into you. No hesitation there.
And who knows how else those things you inject make
They,
you.
they, they probably get the butt injections too.
Do you think the poison in Botox counteracts the stuff in the vax, so then you don't end up with myocarditis?
I mean, maybe.
See,
Maybe
that's the next study they need to do.
The blood,
That'll be in 2 years from now. They'll be saying,
now do the people with Botox, did they get myocarditis after?
See, that's the next study they do. Is 2 years from now they'll be suggesting that you need a shot of Botox to go with your vaccine.
I mean, I might be okay with that, you know. I got some places I could put some Botox.
Your sagging ass.
No, the crotch of my pants is wearing out, you know. I haven't even hit 40, and I got like, you know.
He needs that like you know, like that shot of basically like the Viagra shot going into him.
No, I mean it's, you know, it's.
It is funny. It is funny that they've got statistics on Botox use already, but like they're literally just now saying, yeah, it looks like we've got enough instances of stroke that we're going to start investigating that. Like they've already been doing the research on the Botox thing, but they've just now decided that
Botox is where the money is.
Well, I mean, this is true. Cosmetic surgeries and stuff like that are where they make their money.
You can't have a bunch of angry Karens coming knocking down your door and leaving a bunch of angry reviews on Facebook and, you know, Instagram reels about how bad that doctor is or something. So I gotta figure out why my Botox.
Do you know how many botched like surgeries though, or like for the cosmetic surgeries? Like there are so many that are botched though. Like that's the funny thing about it is like you're going into a process knowing that like you're gonna get screwed up. Like you're either gonna come out of it looking like plastic, or you're gonna come out of it looking horrible. So
I don't know. Look at Tara Reid's boob job.
I mean, I don't know. I'm like 7 for 10. I've done well with the ones I've done so far. You know.
You do those vaginal reconstructions though, don't you?
Yeah. Usually I try to schedule the same day that I'm like butchering chickens. I got all the tools out, everything's dirty, and I just, you know.
You can probably use some gizzards to make things look natural.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, you know, a chicken, you know, when you cut the gizzard in half, kind of puckers backwards, and it makes for a real good shape, you know.
Dag, how'd your
we know what he does on the weekends.
Dag, how'd your chicken deal go? Everything went off without a hitch?
Yeah, slinging birds in the parking lot. The guns didn't have to come out. It was a good deal. So, tell you, I'm riding in the old truck today. Got the Confederate flag on the back. Feeling good. Good day. Yeah.
Go drive that thing through Boston right now.
There was a dude in front of me with an American flag with an eagle on it, and it's funny because mine's a Confederate flag with an eagle on it. And I was like, pussy.
It's a parade.
Well, you know,
it's very kind of parade.
Speaking of the guns coming out, get into Clyde's article he wanted to talk about. Failed GOP candidate arrested on suspicion of orchestrating shootings at homes of Democrats in New Mexico.
Wow.
This dude's haircut is very Hitler Youthish.
Well, like let's be honest. He's not a white man.
His name's
So
Solomon.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean,
His
I mean,
name
that
is
just-
Solomon Pena. So, yeah, you're probably right.
I
mean,
I'd probably try to shoot people too if my name was
he's
Solomon
he's
Pena.
multicultural white supremacist.
I thought the GOP didn't take like not white people. I guess
No,
I guess they
look,
take a
see,
few.
they're broadening out. See, now it's you can anybody can be a white supremacist. They just have to adopt the framework. I guess like they have to buy into the system.
Okay.
And they do
Well, I
take
guess
brown
that's fair
people
enough.
in the border states, because then when you've got brown people who are also Republicans and in support of strong borders, then that it's like the I have a black friend thing. Like, look, we got this.
We got Mexican friend who wants to kick
Yeah.
out the illegals.
We've got a Hispanic guy over here who wants us to shore up our borders. That means it's okay because they're on board with it. See, that's the way this works. You got to
gotcha.
learn how to play the game.
That works.
It's also just sheer numbers. I mean, it's there's just such a high percentage of them in those states. You
Can't help but avoid it.
yeah, exactly. If not else, you just have to have the appearance of representation.
So, did you read the article at all?
Yes.
Okay, so
The story's absurd.
he's got like a past history of like he's a felon and like burglary
Yes.
and larceny and stuff like that. So he's got that going for him, and he didn't actually shoot anybody, right? He just like supposedly orchestrated it.
Right. They have
He sounds like a mob boss, like literally.
Yeah.
They have suspicions that he may have, but they don't have any actual proof. All they seem to have are like messages where he indicated that he wanted to participate, but there's no actual proof that he did. He did. He, as you said, he is a felon, and they did find guns in his home, so they're going to get him on that because he's not allowed.
Which let's be real. Like I mean, I hate that. Like if you're able, if you're rehabilitated to rejoin society, like you get your guns back.
Yeah, you got to apply. It's fucking crazy. I had a friend who was like he had a felony like a decade before, and he's like, yeah, I'm applying to get my rights back, like so he can own it. Like they have
How much you have
use
to pay for
permission
that?
again. I don't know. It was probably horribly expensive and onerous. He was concerned. Are you guys familiar with a tool called a ram shot? It's a powder actuated nail driver, so it uses a small like gunpowder charge to fire nails into concrete. And we were building a new shop, and we're like, hey, bring this tool, that tool, the other tool. He's like, oh, I'm not riding with that one. That might be considered a firearm. I'm not going back to prison. I'm like, it's fair. I mean, I'd be a little worried about it too, to be honest.
That's crazy. That's such man, that's disgusting. But okay. Did you look into his like the past elections there?
During the fall campaign, Pena's opponent sued to have him removed from the ballot, arguing that his status as an ex-felon should prevent him from being able to run for public office in the state. He served nearly 7 years in prison after a 2008 conviction for stealing a large volume of goods in a smash and grab scheme.
So he wouldn't have been if this was California, he wouldn't have been a felon.
Yeah.
So I mean, like really, we're okay. So I looked. The guy he ran against, what was his name? I have it pulled up. Anyway, damn, where'd it go?
Miguel Garcia.
Apparently, he was claiming that the election was stolen from him, which is hilarious.
He was,
and that's why they're going for this whole like, oh, he's an election denier, and so that's why he shot up people.
I think he's just a moron. He lost 74-26. Like it wasn't even close. Like,
but
I hope his opponent was Maria Vaggia.
some clown dude. I'm gonna share the screen now. Here. The guy that he ran against ran unopposed. He's run unopposed since 2014. And this guy, like the Pena guy ran unopposed in the Republican primary. And I want to say he got 300 votes for the in the primary. Maybe it was less than that. All right, I shared the screen of the guy he fought against, or ran against, fought against. I guess
Fought against. Well,
I
he's
like that
fighting against him now.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, this guy's just as bad. What the hell is going on in New Mexico?
It's a weird place, man. I've never been, but I'm pretty sure it's a weird place.
Yeah.
He's and apparently he's 51.3% male.
Yeah. Well, okay. So that's something else
No,
we
that's
got to
his
discuss.
district. I'm sorry.
No,
The
no, no, no.
population
Okay, hold
of the
on.
district.
So look, hey, you got three.
My bad. I read that wrong.
Damn, they're really getting specific in the bios these days, huh? It's no longer
Yeah.
fucking percentage. Oh my
He's
god.
barely male. Like he has just enough testosterone.
Look at his
to
race,
qualify
but look
as
at his
male.
race. Look at his race.
He's a
You want? Oh, I guess that's all. That's all.
Where is it? Where does it
That's
say
how
his
the
race?
district-
white.
Okay. I was like, wait a minute. I'm like trying to add all this up. Like it still doesn't mean 100. That like
Oh shit.
what's the other race of people in that district?
I don't know. You're not scrolling down where we can see it.
Oh, I'm not.
No,
How could what?
I can't scroll
Oh,
your
I scroll.
page. So
No,
there
I
you
thought I
go.
scrolled it. I thought I scrolled it. I was scrolling the wrong one. So how does that work? Does that mean there's like 40% of 60% of people don't identify as any race?
That's how I'm going. I'm going to identify as non-race from now on.
Like choose not to enter.
Oh,
so that means they're white.
Ethnicity. Well, it says an ethnicity there below. So 81% for like Hispanic.
But see, even the numbers on that don't add up, because if it's 81.7% Hispanic but 34.9% white, then that means there are actually white.
They're
Hispanic.
White Hispanics.
Apparently, math actually is hard. At least if you're looking at Ballotpedia.
There's a lot
there
of
you go.
half Mexicans, and so that skews the numbers. You know, if you're like half Mexican, because isn't there a thing like when you're filling out like a thing, it says like white, and then it says like Hispanic, non-white Hispanic. Like there's like a few different options in Hispanic things. Maybe it means if you're like half Mexican, they count you as Hispanic, and then some of them might be counted as white
race,
too.
Like they do race and then they do ethnicity, which is different. So ethnicity, basically, if you're Hispanic, then you can be Hispanic. Like you technically can be a white Hispanic, like the way that they have it set up.
What,
So
your families live there?
So
What, your family lived in Argentina for 2 generations?
So race and ethnicity are split up as different things, kind of like sex and gender, I guess.
Yeah.
I think that's
this shit.
set up like that to discriminate against voters, and it keeps certain people down that don't understand race and ethnicity. And
basically, it's just a way to keep black people from voting. I think.
I think so.
This is
Pretty
like
sure.
this is like the new requiring an ID is to separate race and ethnicity, and then nobody's allowed to vote except for the people who are just straight white.
See, they just
like
identify as black Hispanics. That's just how it works. Like those are real too. Dominican Republic people. Like
yeah, the guy who shot Trayvon Martin, he was a white Hispanic.
Yeah.
And that's what was wrong with him. It wasn't. 383 votes. That's what he got in the Republican primary. So I like when they tout this as some like election denying, like right wing, GOP, like it's like, really, guys? Like, I mean, anybody could have got on that Republican ticket and ran. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like I don't think he had the backing of anybody like
he's a
big
felon.
names.
Like he's a felon. He has multiple charges against him, and then all of a sudden after he loses, he hires a hit on the people that he lost to.
Do you think he was a Democrat plant?
Guaranteed.
This goes through my head.
Yeah, oh yeah.
This goes through my head. Like this dude was a plant. They're like, nobody else is running. We've got an opportunity to do some crazy shit with this dude, and like he was probably all for it. He probably got a pretty cushy gig out of it. Like, you're
gonna go to jail, but
he's on CNN with Kinsey.
You're gonna have 100,000, guaranteed.
Yeah, they didn't let him in on that part. It's the only reason they didn't use a white. They're like, man, you really want to sell it, you got to use a white guy, right? Because if you're trying to do this like op, like you're describing, it's like, okay, they have to be Republican, they have to be white, right? Because we're painting a picture here. So my question is, why would they use a Hispanic?
They probably
But
saw
then
that haircut.
It's New
Yeah.
Mexico. That's all they got.
Yeah.
You saw that,
right? Goes back to options, and then yeah, it is easier to frame them that way. So maybe they took a little bit on the Hispanic side just to make the plot go down a little bit more predictably.
It just seems
We're getting
all
good at
so
this, guys.
fishy, you know, you pay attention to a couple of them, and it gets easier. You know, you see it all the time. So, all right, I'll be right back. I got to put some bread in the oven.
All right.
Is that like a you're trying to
No,
make
not a
babies during the
euphemism.
show, or I don't understand what's going on? Like I get it. I get it. Like
pooping.
you take it when you can get it, but you just leave it in the middle of the show for yeah, cool. More power to
You
you.
know they always want it at the most inconvenient times.
Yeah.
That's true.
This is true. What else we got? We can do another dumb thing before since we are speaking about race and ethnicity. They changed Velma's race and or ethnicity for the new Velma series on HBO Max.
And they also made Fred a white supremacist.
Yeah, I never liked Fred until now. But
I was gonna say, it didn't seem like that far of a stretch. I didn't see how they changed Fred though. Any douche with a neckerchief like that, he's either gay or a white supremacist. One extreme or the other.
You know, I would have thought the former, but hey.
Yeah. It's a new world.
I mean, supposedly he
Yes,
was
you can do
plowing
both.
Daphne.
Yeah,
So.
or he's a gay white supremacist.
Yeah. 2023, anything's possible.
Is that like Milo? So they say Velma is so bad that it's spawning psyop conspiracy theories.
Yeah. Yes. So essentially, here's a conspiracy theory: is this chick, like she's like an Indian, whatever, something, right? And she's the one running the show, and she's like self-inserting herself as Velma, right? And that's the whole point of why she changed the Velma's race, is because she's doing like a self-insert of her, like an Indian woman or whatever, being as or like whatever as Velma. And then, she's I don't know.
I guess
It's hard to tell in a cartoon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
everybody with that dark skin tone looks the same, I guess.
Yeah.
Are we talking about the Scooby-Doo?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So essentially people were saying that she was doing that on purpose so that way it would get hate watching, and then that way it would tank the show, and somehow I don't know. Basically they were saying because she couldn't like get her own gig that wasn't another property, she was trying to tank this show so she could get something better deal or something like that.
Yeah, I mean the ones I've seen basically kind of go revolve around the idea that they deliberately made it that bad to like drive people to hate it and to like scream about wokeness and stuff. Like the whole thing is it's like some sort of a right-wing psyop to get people to hate woke shit or something something ridiculous like that.
Yeah, like the like make the anti-woke people's like wet dream of a show, and essentially like, oh look, we can talk about this, like they're putting all this woke stuff, and then it basically drives all that attention away, like the kills that show or something like that. Like that was the idea anyway.
Yeah, maybe it just
But
sucks.
it was hilarious because like they had they have one segment where she basically talks about like Velma's I don't know why they're in like a trial, but she's talking like why Fred is like always privileged. He's had the white privilege so much or whatever that he can't even cut his steak or something like that. And he sits there and he's like, "Mommy, cut it for me, cutsies," or something like that.
So
And it's like, what?
Look, if the chick wants to like make the show and like make it like based on her and make it an Indian Velma, like I don't really care about that. Like if it's a good show, what the fuck ever. But like that kind of shit about like Fred, you're white privilege, like fuck, dude, like fuck, that sucks. So bad.
So that's like, the thing has been going. It's been going around for a while about like changing gender swapping and race swapping characters in different shows and
Snow
stuff.
White.
And like Mark and I had done an episode about the new Dune movie that came out, and there was one character that it was they used a black woman for the character, and I was like, and some people did actually like say that they had a problem with it. I was like, I don't have a problem with it, because the person who played the character did everything the exact same as the character in the book. Like, they didn't change the character, they just made it a black woman. And the character also doesn't serve a long-term purpose. Like, she serves the purpose of the character for the movie and then dies. Like, that's it. That's all you have to do. They didn't make it about it. They didn't make anything. They didn't make anything about the character, about her being a female. They didn't make anything about it being a black. Like, it was the exact same character. If you would cast a white dude or whatever in that role, it was the exact same character. So, like, I don't have a problem with that. Like, that didn't matter. But when they do a race swap or a gender swap or something like that, and then they use it as some like social justice bullshit surrounding that character, and they turn the character into something that it never was to promote some agenda, that's where I have a problem with it. And I think that's largely the argument that's made.
Well, it's like
people care that they race swap or they gender swap the character. It's that they completely change the identity of the character so that they can do that and then make it all about this thing that was never a thing for the character.
Well, like it's like hate marketing. That's what like, several people that I've seen coined the term. Basically, it's like hate marketing. It's essentially like baiting people into being mad about it, so then that way that it gets attention from the press and everything. And it doesn't make anybody like it. I don't understand why they think that, like getting it's this weird world where more clicks, like regardless of how bad like something is, like more clicks is better. And I don't understand why that exists. And it goes to show like just that like
ad
we've
revenue.
ruined. Well, yeah, it's ad revenue, but like it goes to show that like we don't care about like merit anymore. We don't care about like good, it's something good,
dude.
We care about like what it like actually what the end goal is. Like what message are we trying to send? What are we trying to like teach?
We
people?
haven't. The society culture hasn't been concerned with merit in like decades.
Yeah,
I mean,
probably since like 70 or 80s. I mean,
yeah, it's not merit. It's and it's progressed, and we're seeing like I think the culmination of it all now. You got people in the highest offices, the most powerful people in the world, and maybe not the world, I guess the country. World, there's still a bunch of old white men, but it's I don't know.
Yeah, it's become a common theme across like most of media is to do stuff like this, and then it was like with the Lord of the Rings. Like I watched like the first 2.5.
You watched Rings of Power, didn't you?
Yeah. I watched the first 2 episodes and then half of the third before I was like, fuck this, I'm done. But like I wouldn't have had a problem with the Black Dwarf if it wasn't for the fact that the characters were just so shittily written. And like, it's like I don't care that you got a Black Dwarf and Black Elves. I care that the characters fucking suck.
Yeah.
Isn't that kind of racist though to make like Black Dwarf?
I don't know. Is it?
I mean, I feel like I don't know.
No, they were like praising it. People were talking about it, and they were like they immediately had to defend the idea of Black Dwarves, because when people said, "Oh, the Black Dwarves, like that doesn't exist in Tolkien's universe, like there's no such."
It doesn't
thing.
exist in real life. I mean, like that's what I mean. Like this is not just this. Okay.
I mean, Kevin's Hart's proof. So
yeah, I guess.
But like in the all right, I'm gonna completely go nerd out on this. In like the Never Realms Dungeons and Dragons like universe, there are Black Dwarves. They're like evil dwarves, like the dark elves.
But they can't be evil now.
Right, but there are black dwarfs. Remember, did we talk about the Dungeons and Dragons thing, where it's like there's
Yeah.
some sort of a space thing, and there's
Space
like
race
the
of
space
like
monkeys?
racist monkeys or something. Yeah.
Yeah, the racist space monkeys in Dungeons and Dragons. Oh,
Yeah.
apparently Dungeons and Dragons is incredibly racist. We should really start a Dungeons and Dragons like group, like we get on here and we just like do a live stream every Saturday night of us playing Dungeons and Dragons.
That'd
I'll
be funny.
pass.
I bet you we've got people in our audience who would be down for that.
They can take my place.
Looking at you, Steven.
I've never.
You know, like they're trying to change all the rules for dungeon, like the mainstream. I mean, obviously, you know, you can play house rules, like, you know, it's a tabletop game, like you can make up the rules, like, essentially, all right. So, but the main rule sets they're trying to change to streamline to make it like where it's, you know, PC basically. Like all of the stuff is supposed to be PC. You can't, you know, you can't do certain things, and they're trying to eliminate a lot of the like fun stuff that you could do before or whatever.
Fun stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not sure fun stuff goes with Dungeons and Dragons, but
Well, you know, y'all were
Work
talking
out
about the white people who are still running the world.
John Kerry.
Yeah, that guy. Elites
Yeah,
gather
that
in
guy.
Davos as
Who's
conspiracy
that guy?
theories gain traction online. I don't know who that guy is. When some of the world's wealthiest and most influential figures gather at the World Economic Forum's annual meeting last year, sessions on climate change drew high-level discussions on topics such as carbon financing and sustainable food systems. But an entirely different narrative played out on the internet, where social media users claimed leaders wanted to force the population to eat insects instead of meat in the name of saving the environment. I mean, haven't they literally said as much?
I believe so. I mean, they literally say a lot of things, and then the you know media runs cover for it. So
the annual event in the Swiss ski resort town of Davos, which opens Monday, has increasingly become a target of bizarre claims from a growing chorus of commentators who believe the forum involves a group of elites manipulating global events for their own benefit. Experts say what was once a conspiracy theory found in the internet's underbelly has now hit the mainstream. People are starting to pay attention. Also, how many Ukrainian oligarchs do you think bought resorts in this Swiss ski resort town of Davos?
Probably at least 4 or 5.
I was gonna say 3, but you probably close.
I mean, they did get like they've got at least like 100 billion from us, right? I mean, so surely they've done something with it, or is it even more than that? I think it's, you know, I think they're getting over 100 billion at this point.
yeah, I think so. I'm torn with the Swiss because like I like how they're like they have a lot of guns, like that's cool, like you guys are fighting the European norm, but then they do stuff like this. They passed that legislation we talked about on like there's only 2 genders, right? Good for you, but then they house these folks, maybe they're just like gathering intel. I don't know. Maybe.
Well,
maybe
it's more about like the like they care about the money. That's why like the Swiss bank memes is a thing.
That's
like,
what I was about to say. They don't give a shit about the people or what the people are doing or talking about. They're all about that money. This is an event that rakes in some money. That's all the Swiss are worried about.
Yeah, like this, like you have a bunch of very, very rich people, like the some of the most like richest in the world, that are going to this like location and just giving a speech and doing a thing, and you're like, okay, well, if all this money is coming into our country, like we don't care, like who cares? Like it's not gonna matter to them.
Jay Forte says Kristen Cinema was dressed like she was in the Hunger Games. Jay, she does that on purpose. She's admitted as much that she wears provocative clothing to get all the Republican guys riled up with her titties. So that's part of her shtick.
She's trying to get them to come to the dark side.
I mean, she left the dark side and went to the middle, so
she's a great Jedi.
Did you guys here? Let me see. Keep talking.
I say, while you think about it, we've got some videos from the World Economic Forum that we can check out.
Oh, you got a video?
Hernandez, reporter for Turning Point USA, on the ground in Davos, Switzerland, to report on the 2023 meeting of the World
Would.
Economic Forum.
Beautiful
Looks
area.
really nice there.
Focus and slogan.
Yeah.
I'd ski down those
And they're
slopes.
focusing in on the cost of living crisis, specifically food prices rising and energy prices rising.
Get the
But another
snowblower out.
issue that is at the forefront is climate change, which is interesting to me because back in 2022, it was reported that over 1,000 private jets were utilized to fly people into Davos during the week of the World Economic Forum's meeting, basically quadrupling carbon emissions for that time frame. Now, another issue that is going to be discussed is vaccination. We know that the WEF has been at the forefront of pushing the global digital vaccine passport for the masses, and many people, now that more heart-related issues are being tied to the
That's a
vaccine,
big mic.
are becoming very apprehensive of it. So we're going to be asking
That's what
members
she
and
said.
attendees here what their thoughts are on this. Now,
It's pretty
been
good with one
reported
hand
that
there. I'm
attendees as well
surprised.
cannot
She'll
even
need two.
enter the meeting without taking a PCR test.
Oh,
If
she
they
saves
deny
that for
the
later.
PCR test, their badge will be deactivated. If they test positive,
She starts
for
with one and then
COVID-19, their
finishes
badge
with
She
again
got one of
will
them
be
shake weights at
deactivated.
home.
So we will be
Practice
on the
with them.
ground here in this remote
Yeah.
village in Switzerland, where the average public would not be able to come and ask the people in attendance their thoughts on a lot of these global issues. Thousands of world leaders are in attendance to talk about policy that is going to affect you and me, but the public, for example, there were protesters here yesterday, and it was reported that they actually had to hike to this area to even be able to protest. Again,
Boy, that is dedication to hike up the Swiss Alps to protest. Like, you got to be.
They're probably getting paid though. Honestly, like if you know how like a lot of the protesters work, like a lot of them are just paid people. Like they're getting paid to do that.
Do you think people who are actually protesting the WEF are getting paid to do that?
Yes.
I guess maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Probably not as much. Like probably not as much as people who would be like for protesting for the WEF or something. Like because it's all an op. Like all that's an op. They pay agitprop and then they pay both sides and then they just see who's gonna win and they bet on the winning side.
John Kerry's looking rough.
And when you stop and think about it, it's pretty extraordinary.
He's like 80, ain't he?
That we, select group of human beings, because of
79.
they would sit in a room together and actually talk about saving the planet. I mean, it's so almost extraterrestrial to think about, quote, saving the planet. And if you said that to most people, they think you're just a crazy tree-hugging, lefty, liberal, do-gooder, whatever. And there's no relationship.
And they would be
really,
right.
That's where we are.
Was that Spike Cohen sitting next to him?
Yeah, we're a select group of individuals touched by extraterrestrials.
It looks like
you
Spike
know,
Cohen.
Like how much more of a savior complex can you have? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it just that like the,
What photos is Steven talking about? Is he talking?
They're imagining like them being the winners of like saving Independence Day, like basically like saving from the extraterrestrials.
Yeah, well, that's it. They're playing a game, and they they're out there, having their daydreams about saving the world, and that's their daydream come to life,
Is that what you're talking about, Steven?
Isn't that gonna get us linked on YouTube?
No, it's art.
Oh yeah, I forgot that's art.
It's,
Yeah.
as long as it's art, you can do whatever you want. I don't know.
I thought we could use that to segue into Martin Luther King there, but
I wasn't going to talk about that, but I mean, if we
did you guys talk about him on Monday?
I thought we did we not?
Yeah, a little bit.
Pretty sure. I mean, it was Martin Luther King birthday, so
I guess
day. What was it? Did I see right that Martin Luther King's birthday is the same day as Robert E. Lee's birthday? I think I saw that.
I think that's correct.
Both those days, yeah, are celebrated the same day. Lee Jackson Day and then MLK Day. That's why I'm pretty sure that's why they formally made MLK like a national holiday, because they knew that like like Lee Jackson Day was on the same day, so that way they could basically snuff that out.
What is Lee Jackson Day?
So basically celebrating, Robert E. Lee and Stonewall Jackson on
Okay.
from the
Why?
Confederation.
Why?
If you were actually a
So is it-
senator, you would know this. But
Well, no, but like, is it? Because
He's a
well, I
carpetbagger. He don't know.
I knew the Lee part of it. Because I thought
Yeah,
that was
Stonewall
his birthday, but I
Jackson.
wasn't certain. Is that his birthday, or they just slapped him on there to slap him on there?
I think it's just they're just celebrating both of them. Like they're celebrating
Okay.
Robert E. Lee and Stonewall Jackson because they're basically the big Confederate generals.
Yeah, that works. I thought it was his birthday, that's why I got confused. Can't wait till they make Flag Day a national holiday for Trump's birthday. Be a beautiful thing when that happens.
I'm trying to find pictures of Kristen Sinema from the WEF, but I'm not seeing anything.
Do we really need to see pictures of her?
I mean, no, I don't guess.
I appreciate the honesty there.
I mean, there's no real reason to. We've got more stuff from the WEF we can talk about.
Yeah.
Oh,
We've
Lee
got-
Jackson.
Like,
Lee
that's
Jackson
such a
Day is
weird-
it's actually Lee's birthday on the 19th, and then apparently Jackson's birthday was on the 21st. So they just kind of lumped them together.
Okay.
That's what it was.
Why not just do it on the 20th and like share? Split
Do it on the
difference.
20th every year instead of doing it on Martin Luther King Jr. Day.
Yeah.
Or is Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday on the 21st and we just celebrated it on Monday? And Lee's birthday is also on the 21st.
Well, I think it's always on Monday, so who knows what day it is? You know what I mean? 'Cause it's one of those like it's not like Christmas, right? It's like the third Monday of
According to
every
Google,
January.
his birthday is actually on the
Second.
15th. So
Doesn't even make any sense at all.
Because it's the second Monday of the month or third Monday of the month, whatever.
Whatever. Let's see
'Cause
what's
that way you
Elizabeth White
can't
has to
you
say.
don't want to give people a Tuesday off. Nobody wants Tuesday off.
I would rather have Tuesday off. It breaks up the week.
You're retarded.
No.
Have you ever just taken a Wednesday off? It's nice. You work 2 days, you take Wednesday off, you work 2 days. Breaks up the week, makes it more manageable. Like I would rather work 2, be off 1, work 2, be off 2 than work 4 and be off 3. I mean, the way my schedule is now, I work 4 and then I'm off 4, and that's like perfect. But
I don't get days off.
yeah, hazard of being a stay-at-home mom.
How does the world want to achieve climate neutrality if so far it hasn't
I raise
even
her
stopped
climate.
the burning of
Can y'all
entire
hear
cities in
that?
Ukraine?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is what Russia is doing with its artillery, with its missiles, with its Iranian drones. And you know that the Russian aggression was never intended to restrict itself to the Ukrainian borders. This war can go further and it make crises wider if the aggressor does not lose. How
Why-
does the world want to achieve climate neutrality if so far it
Sorry.
Like win the war to fix the climate.
We have to defeat Russia so we can solve the climate crisis.
I wonder. I mean, war is like the biggest polluter ever between fuel and wayward scraps and everything like that. I mean,
Probably not as much modern war. I don't know.
I don't know. You got all the missiles and all the debris and litter that comes about, and most of the bodies are decomposable, but
How decomposable are they if they've been vaccinated?
yeah, well, that's probably true. I wonder about that. It's an interesting theory, Justin.
Well, and they keep pushing this. Like, has Russia ever given any indication that they were looking to move even beyond like the Donbass region?
No.
No.
Like this whole Russia's trying to take over Europe is like, who said that? Who said that? Other than
It happened once. It can happen again.
what? What happened once?
I mean, Hitler didn't want to like take over the whole world, right? He just happened to, try to take over the whole world. He realized it was going good for him, and he said, "Okay, we're going to do this."
He wasn't even trying to do that though.
No. No, no. If it had been going good for him, he would have just like taken his wins where he took them and been like, okay, I believe he took Poland. He's like, okay, I'll take Poland.
Yeah, and then it was,
Well, and like he took France, but France like.
But I mean, let's be real. Anybody can take France. I mean, that's not like a win, right? I mean, it's like a
and if you look at it, France was experiencing a lot of the same societal degradation that Germany was going through. And so when the Nazis took power and started like
inherited those problems
and started like wiping that stuff out and fixing those problems, France was like, hey, you can fix our shit too. Like we've got those same problems and you seem to have figured it out. Instead of us fucking with it, like you can just come do that. Like
come do that thing.
Yeah, do that thing that you've been doing.
Okay.
Seems to be working for you.
Set up a bakery over here.
Oh no.
Speaking of bakeries, we got the Pillsbury Doughboy hosting a clear and present danger of disinformation session.
Potato Head. He's over there. I didn't know he was at the World Economic Forum.
Like, do you think CNN would not have somebody there? Like that?
Is he still at CNN?
Fired. He got fired.
Oh yeah,
Kinzinger's probably there. Right.
Well, isn't he on some other show now though? Like he's still in the media. Like he's still in mainstream media some way.
Stetler?
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
I don't keep up with this.
Oh shit.
Oh, apparently he was blaming he was blaming that disinformation on the reason why he's unemployed.
Oh, that makes perfect sense. Yes.
When you peddle misinformation,
cost him his job.
What's the difference between disinformation and misinformation? Can I use the two interchangeably, or am I going to like aggravate the autists?
It's only misinformation if it identifies as female. If it identifies as male, then it's disinformation.
Okay, I can jive with that. I can do that one.
And miss, obviously, and then dis is like short for dick. Apparently, there's some other. Oh yeah, Trey had to leave. Apparently, there's been some other shit going on over in Europe. Greta's getting her photo op with the.
Is that really Greta? Did she dye her hair?
I don't know. They say it's Greta.
Could that not be Greta? I mean,
they packed her away.
No, that's.
They were packing her away and arresting her, claiming that it was Greta. See,
are those real police?
This is her white privilege. Like, they're holding her hand. They're taking pictures with her. If she was just a slightly darker skin complexion, they would have her face down in that mud and just be strangling the life out of her. There we go. March her away. It's all fun. All fun and games.
It reminds me of that the AOC time she got arrested. Right?
When
she
when she had her hands behind her back with no handcuffs on.
She's done it a couple times, hasn't she?
Yeah.
I mean, there was the one in the car, like a little while back, and I think there was one more recently where it was like, clearly staged. Like there's no, I mean, just good Lord. Oh, people buy it too, right?
Oh yeah.
What was she protesting that time? Do you know?
I think it was a coal mine or something.
Okay.
I don't know.
Do you see
a ton of pictures of her like riding trains that are literally coal powered? No.
Probably. I mean,
whatever.
But this is that's just the disconnect of it all, though. Like nobody realizes that all these people screaming about coal power, blah blah blah. They have no problem with their batteries and their battery mines and all this stuff, and it's 10 times worse. And
it's because they don't know. They have no idea.
You have to know. You can't not know.
They don't. I did my episode talking about everything that goes into the copper mining for the copper that's used in solar panels and wind turbines. And like so many people were like, holy shit, I didn't know that's everything that they do to mine that copper and what goes into it. It's like, yeah. And I mean, these are people like, you know, more on our level of things and who don't know. Yeah. Yeah. That autism is the
That's the proper word.
Yeah. Like our people don't know this. You think that the people who are pushing for solar everything and wind turbine everything have any fucking clue whatsoever? They don't even want to know.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know, man. It seems strange to me. Like it's one of those. I just maybe that's because like that's what I did or I know. You know what I mean? Like environmental stuff. Maybe that's why. I don't know. I try to find something here.
Well, while you try to find that, we got one more World Economic Forum clip that we can check out. Apparently, this one is some Republican being cringe.
Overhaul of the immigration system, because not only we need those hands, like the Congress, like a senator was saying, but we need to also give dignity to those people who are in the country, and those are the people that I represent. We're talking about 15 million people who are most of them
1350.
85% who speak their language, look like me, and sound like me, that are contributing with the economy of this country, and they live in the shadows. So it's time to seal the border, like she said, put order, let's see who comes in and who doesn't, and then turn around and give dignity. That doesn't mean path to citizenship. That means to include them and make them dignified members of our community.
Thank you.
Where is she from?
Probably one of those border states. Republican Congresswoman Maria Salazar. Let's look up Maria Salazar.
So,
Florida. Oh, she's from Florida.
That's kind of a border state.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it's surrounded by water, but it's got, you know, I feel like it's
right on Cuba's border.
Yeah, you know, it's more of a border state than like New York, you know.
Well, they instead of trying to get through Texas, where you've got the Texas Rangers like hunting you down as you cross the border, you can just jump in the Gulf of Mexico and swim across. It's easier that way.
Yeah, but have you ever tried to fight a manatee?
No, I leave that to Dag. That's his job. He is the professional manatee fighter on the show.
They should make like a Discovery Channel or something, like, you know, manatee slayer or manatee hunter or something.
Story of Dag's life. It's his autobiography.
No, so the article I was trying to find, it's from the AP. Is Biden agenda lithium mine tribes Greens collide in Nevada. So I didn't realize they were trying to open a lithium mine out in Nevada somewhere. And that was like moving forward. Because I guess it's a BLM type thing. But
what BLM is trying to open a lithium mine?
The Bureau of Land Management.
Oh, I was going to say that
the real BLM.
That doesn't really seem like their shtick.
Not those upstarts who tried to steal their acronym. But yeah, so like it's, you know, they say it's going to comply with all the U.S. laws and regulations, but like the ranchers and the Native American tribes, I guess, are the ones suing to stop it from opening.
Because they probably know what goes into these lithium mines. Like, there's a reason that we don't do this shit in the U.S. We do it everywhere else in the world. Well,
it's just, but like, it's big enough, right? Like, well, and that's it, right? Like, we won't do it here, right? We can't do it here. Like, we're not. Our environmental regulations are not stringent enough, you know. So the ones in Africa, of course, they're much more environmentally friendly, right? Like those environmental regulations they have there are much more developed, I guess. I don't know.
Absolutely.
I don't understand how people don't get it or don't know, have an idea. It just like boggles my mind.
They don't want to know. ignorance truly is bliss.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. We gotta start running things on like hemp and water, those hydrogen things, and back to hemp, and we'll be all set.
Hemp and water.
Yeah, I'm telling you, that's the fuel of the future. Mark my words, we'll be dead by then. But somebody will stumble upon this show, doing research on how the alt-right took over, and they'll see.
I got another
see me say
interesting
that.
clip we can, and I hope I live to see the day that the alt-right takes over.
Oh God!
I had a conversation with the governor of Texas about him, with Greg Abbott, where he was explaining to me what George Soros does, and it's fucking terrifying that he donates money to a very progressive, very leftist, whether it's a DA or whatever politician, and then funds someone who's even further left than them to go against them, and just keeps moving it along. So he's playing like a global game, and that he enjoys doing it.
Yeah, he enjoys doing it, but it's telling, right? He understood early on where you wanted to seize power, right? And that's, we sometimes think, I'm gonna, a senator that's the pinnacle of success. Well, it's not really. It's the DAs and it's the state level politicians.
Right.
So that's where real change occurs and where things can happen, and before you know it, it's like, what the fuck?
Or real corrosion.
Right,
that's what's scary. Is it seems like he funds corrosion. It's like he wants these cities to fall apart. He wants crime to flourish. It's almost like he's an evil person in a Batman movie.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
Well, he made his real fortune by almost busting the Bank of England, right? So he's not. Yeah, this guy is not. He's not out there for truth and justice.
And he's got to be deep into his 80s.
Oh, it's 92.
92.
Fucking two.
So you got to wonder, like, what keeps that guy fucking motivated?
How old?
Who was the other guy on there?
I don't remember. Yeah. It was funny. The everybody on the internet decrying this. They're like, Joe Rogan describes George Soros as playing a global game and wants cities to fall apart, and is an evil person in a Batman movie. 11 million people listen to this podcast. 11 million people hearing and absorbing anti-Semitic tropes. That's exactly what I took.
So
was
like
anti-Semitism.
Yeah, no, because I picked up on that, and it was like one of those like that is so much more telling than like anything else, that you see that as anti-Semitic. Because like, what does that say? What does that actually mean? Like, because no one else saw that. In no point was his religion discussed. Was it like nothing? It was like, this is just an evil old man. That's it. Now, if you want to say like, okay, like, I don't know. To me, that says more about what you think.
Right. Like, how many people have any idea that George Soros is Jewish?
I mean, I feel like it's probably a good percent more than.
Well, I mean,
like that lithium batteries are bad, but
I've heard this name before. I don't guess I've paid attention to him.
Wasn't that the guy that was in Half Baked?
No, that's Jim
Brewer.
Yeah,
okay.
That's Magoo's friend.
Baker, Brewer, same thing.
6 one, half a dozen the other.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess when you consider how much money George Soros has, logical deduction would lead you to the assumption that he's Jewish, but like it's not a given, right? Like, it's not like his last name is Goldstein or something. Like, it's
$600 billion in his account. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's not anti-Semitic. Like,
did you say he's worth 600 billion?
I don't know. More than 6 million, obviously. But.
Yeah, I mean, in this case, 6 million seems a little low, actually.
Yeah.
First time you'll ever hear us say that on this show. Anything else before we wrap up?
I don't know, man. I don't think so. I think the more you shout about racism and anti-Semitism when it doesn't exist, the more it makes you look like you got something to hide. So stop pretending you're not like a alt-right white supremacist, and stop denying what they're trying to do.
We talked about needing to do like a birthday.
No, we don't.
Birthday shout outs on the show. So we'll end on this. We'll give a birthday shout out to Big Mike. Happy birthday, Big Mike. You make every day brighter and somehow keep looking better. You got, as Barack gives the reach around. And that's the show.
Got up this morning, things weren't working right. I said I wanna make a change. I said I wanna fight. Obama walked up and said, yes, we can. I said I wanna ride your nuts, cause I think you're the man. Now I'm dick riding Obama, Obama. Now I'm dick riding Obama, Obama. Now I'm dick riding Obama, Obama. Now I'm dick riding for tomorrow, dick riding for today, dick riding for the straight, dick riding for the gay, dick riding for America, dick riding for rock. It's okay to ride that dick, just as long as it's Barack's, and now we're